The lighthouse was not built in a calm season, and Beacon was not either. It began in the post-COVID years, after the loss of Grace House, when I returned to Western New England to be close to my son. I found myself facing a hard question. When an old structure is gone, what do you build with what you still know, what you still care about, and the years you still have to give? The answer was not to recreate the past. It was to build a working light, something useful, clear, and strong enough to help the next person find their bearings. Digital Grandpa was the first answer. It gave me a way to turn lived experience and more than 25 years of transformation work into guidance that was practical, humane, and not built on judgment. But it also made something clear. People do not need another louder feed. They do not need more things to consume or more pressure to react. They need a place to return to, a place where a relevant signal can become useful context, where a question can become reflection, and where reflection can become a more sensible next move. That is why Beacon grew and why The Watch exists. The Watch is the individual membership program at Beacon Community. It is not a content warehouse. It is a member environment built around a practical question. What is the next useful step? Inside, members find learning paths and lesson rails that make important subjects easier to move through. They find member bearings and ongoing intelligence to help separate signal from distraction. They find reflection cards and practical tools that create room to think before reacting. And they find a respectful place to exchange perspective and put useful ideas to work. The goal is not more information. The goal is better use of the information and experience you already have. Here is the rhythm. First, you notice a relevant signal, a change, a question, a pattern, or a piece of work that deserves your attention. Then you orient. You use a lesson, a member bearing, or a reference point to understand what matters before the noise takes over. Then you consider. You pause with a practical tool, test the question, and learn through respectful exchange with other people who are doing real work of their own. And then you apply. You choose the next useful step. Not urgency, not a prescribed answer. A repeatable way to make better use of what you are already learning while keeping your own judgment intact. The Watch is also a community, but not one built for constant churn. It is built for calm pacing over reaction, for mutual respect and useful exchange, and for clear expectations about conduct, moderation, and support boundaries. Bring the work in front of you, the transition you are navigating, the capability you are building, the system you are trying to understand, or the decision that deserves a second look. The point is to leave with a clearer way to continue the work, not to hand your judgment over to someone else. One reason this needs to be clear is that Beacon is growing into a wider ecosystem, and every part of it has a different job. Beacon Momentum is the public front door. The Watch at Beacon Community is the individual membership program, where enrollment, accounts, community, and member training live. Beacon Labs is a separate path for organizations doing systems work and responsible AI implementation. Beacon Trading is a separate educational environment for studying market systems through simulated scenarios. Digital Grandpa and Hollow Threads each have their own distinct purpose as well. The Watch is not a bundle of every Beacon property or service. It is one clear door for people who want to do this particular work together. Clarity is part of trust. Every door should show people where it leads and what it does not include. This is Foundation Year. The first 1,000 people who enter the Watch do so at $497, and they lock in that price for life. After Foundation Year, the price is $997. This is not about creating artificial noise or urgency. It is about recognizing the people willing to help establish the standard early. Practical rather than performative, respectful rather than noisy, and serious about building a body of work that can last. If that is the kind of community and work you want to help shape, this is your place at the beginning. I am not trying to build a monument. I am trying to leave a working light on. Useful lessons, honest systems, practical tools, and a community where people can return when they need a steadier next move. The goal is bigger than a launch. It is to build something that can keep serving people long after I am no longer here to explain every piece of it myself. If that is the kind of work you want to be part of, claim your foundation year place in the Watch at Beacon Community. The lighthouse is lit. The work continues.